Hi everyone, my name is Joni Mitchek. I'm the coordinator for the Colorado Conservation Tillage Association and also the project manager for farms. Today we wanted to share with you a little bit more about farms, which is a SIG on-farm trials soil health demo grant that we applied for last year. And CCTA was the applicant for that, but we also partnered with Colorado State University, Kansas State University, and Health First. We actually got to start working on the project in May of 2020. And so it will run for the next 3 years in Eastern Colorado, Kansas, and Nebraska. And I guess big picture, it's all about increasing adoption of soil health management systems in the high plains. And unlike some other projects, we're not really focused just on one particular practice or one set of practices. We really are promoting a systems approach to soil health where each producer is going to be implementing something kind of different. And it's just going to be about how can they approach the soil health principles in a way that makes sense for their climate, their rainfall, their operation, and their business. And so pretty much we're working with 24 producers in that area. And during the grant project, we will be providing financial, technical, and social support. The financial piece is pretty straightforward. It's a lot like EQIP or CSP, where we're providing incentive payments for producers implementing those systems. The second piece we found to be more important, the technical side. We're bringing on TAs to help specifically, but we're also leaning really heavily on the expertise of a lot of the producers in the project itself. So we have a group that are long-term practitioners who have a lot of experience in soil health, and we're counting them equally as TAs as much as anybody else. And then the final piece, that social support, we also found to be a huge, huge thing that the producers were looking for. And most of that is just getting those producers connected, providing opportunities for knowledge sharing through roundtables and field days and things like that, as well as a pretty set mentoring network as well. And then kind of on the flip side, we're going to be doing a pretty extensive evaluation throughout this grant period. Of course, we're going to be looking at soil health, but we've also got a lot going on for nutrient density, the economic side of things, and the social outcomes. But our hope is that that evaluation is going to really gear us up to where we can continue to help increase the adoption of soil health beyond just the life of this grant. So without too much more, I'm going to turn it over to our evaluation coordinator, Lauren, and she's going to talk a little bit about what we've accomplished so far.
So far, we have done a call for applications. We had 70 applicants, and we selected 24 out of that 70 to be participating producers. And here you can see on the map, they're kind of spread out over the 3 states. The yellow stars are the long-term practitioners, and then the blue dots are the people in their hubs. We've finished the soil health sampling on all 24 sites plus 6 conventional controls. The testing is ongoing at the universities, but it'll include PLFA, soil organic carbon, fungal to bacterial ratio, and a lot of other stuff. The nutrient density testing is ongoing. Some of the grains have already been harvested and sent to the lab to be tested, and some we're waiting on. The social interviews the year 1 interviews are complete. And we talked with producers about barriers to adopting soil health on their farms and also well-being and other aspects like that. Next up in the social will be a social network analysis where we sort of understand how their networks are growing over time. And then the last piece, which we're almost finished with, is the producer-led soil health planning. And so that comes in 2 pieces. The first is the soil evaluation tool, or the SET, where producers go out to their fields and they go through a list of a bunch of metrics, getting their hands in the soil. And then it also gives guidance on how to prioritize and improve some of those metrics. And Becky, our nutrient density coordinator, will talk more about that next. So after they do the SET, they will do the comprehensive soil health management plan, which documents how they plan to address the weak metrics and sort of looks at soil health as a whole and as a system. And so Becky will talk more about the SET next.
Thanks, Lauren. So we developed the soil evaluation tool to help producers to be able to go out there and evaluate each one of these indicators in their own field so that then they can prioritize it. And we were trying to get the process that long-term producers are using as they're looking at their fields and then problem solving to increase their soil health and profitability. So you can see that we took a little bit of a different spin, and then we tied this all back to those ecological processes so that we could really stress the systems approach and the interconnectedness of each one of those processes and how that functions in the soil system. And we've had really exciting practices and ideas that have come in from the producers that they're implementing on their farms. That's probably one of the funnest things that we get to do, is see some of that stuff. So let's go take a look in one of our long-term producers' fields now. Okay, one of the things that we evaluate on our soil health evaluation tool is the root rhizosheath. And so I dug up this little rye plant, and you can see he's not very big, but look at what he's doing down here on his roots. All of those roots are covered with a layer of soil. That's what we talk about when we talk about the root rhizosheath. Okay, so on our soil evaluation tool, this little guy would rank as a 4, but because he has at least 75% of his little roots covered in this rhizosheath. Okay, so it's important to get out there in the field and dig up several spots so that you can really evaluate what's going on in your field. What's so exciting about this plan and the root rhizosheath is this is the interface between your plant, the soil, and the biology out there. So as this plant pumps those exudates into the soil, it's going to start building those stable aggregates, but it's also an indication that your biology is interacting with this plant. Our vascular mycorrhizal fungi can go out there and get nutrients and bring it back to this plant to make sure it's healthy throughout the season. These rhizosheaths will help with some drought tolerance, and maybe there's a bacteria in there that's associating with this grass plant and fixing nitrogen. That's right, it doesn't just happen with legumes. Okay, and perhaps with this little guy, you can see he's got this nice root rhizosheath on the top, but then it's not so good at the bottom. Maybe he hit a packet of fertilizer. He doesn't need the biology to help him get those nutrients up into the plant. And so he isn't building that root rhizosheath with the biology around the roots there. The main thing we want to stress is just get out into the field with your shovel. The set was designed that you don't need a whole lot of equipment to go out there and really evaluate the status of your field. And each field will be different. So take that shovel around to every field that you have and evaluate where that field stands, because every management practice will impact what happens out in that field. So there you go, root rhizosheath. We've got some really good activity, even on these tiny little plants. They're doing their job out here in the field.
All right, thanks, Becky. For anyone who's interested in learning more about our project, here's our website, farmsproject.org, or you can contact myself, Becky, or Lauren with any other questions. Thanks.